All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Green White Checker TV. Tonight we have the season opener for the Area 51 Super Speedway Truck Series here tonight at Talladega Superspeedway. So the drivers putting in their qualifying laps to kick off our season opener tonight. And so we do have a few big changes on the point system, and some rules, I should say, coming into tonight's race in this season. And also a little change up here in the booth as well. So I'm going to be stepping away just a little bit tonight, kind of handing over the reins to some of my esteemed colleagues here. As they were joking around saying we're putting the rookie stripes in the booth tonight. So we're going to be kind of lead anchor tonight, going to be Maxwell Caldwell. I'll still be hiding behind in the camera side of things, running the cameras. And then Chris Matthews going to be joining the party as well, broadcasting and commentating along with us tonight. So Chris, Maxwell, appreciate you guys hopping in here. We're gonna get your feet, Maxwell, kind of let you run the show a lot here, and then of course in the coming weeks, kind of get you fully vested and get the camera angles and the SDK and all that fun and game going, to get you kind of full tilt. Now that you got the computer to run the show and have some more fun with things, so you've done a great job in the booth, and I think you're about ready. Let's say we're gonna take those training wheels off you here.
Absolutely. I'm starting to feel like Dale Jr. on NBC, man, where they've kind of thrown him to the wolves the past couple weeks, letting him do lead commentating. No, it's interesting. It's neat. It's nerve-wracking, but it's going to be awesome. Glad for the opportunity, Gael, and glad to have you guys at Green White Checker TV watching tonight. As you can see, we've got some drivers out here in qualifying, just about halfway through the run here. Just a few others here. We've got Kevin Freeze kind of topping the charts currently, but we know how these truckers are. We may not see who's on pole till the end. So, Chris, I'm going to bounce off you here for just a minute, being kind of our driver analyst tonight, getting to jump up in the booth here with us. So, what do you expect to see here for the kickoff of this Thursday night Area 51 Truck Series?
I definitely see that these guys probably want to work in packs. You might not want to be all 21 or 20 cars in one big pack. You might have some guys drop off to the back. You might have some fast qualifiers that start in the front, and by lap one, probably before lap two, they'll sit there on the backstretch, let themselves drop all the way to the back and start forming their other group, and then hopefully use a fuel mileage or even a tire mileage, or, a tire race and everything like that. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the teams kind of work together and who wants to be up front, who wants to be in the back, and how many packs do these guys want to be in.
Absolutely. We know we see that split up every now and then. Didn't know we were going to have such a full field for the start until right at the end, everybody kind of jumping in last minute. But you brought up an interesting point there, Chris. New season, new rules, as Gael talked about earlier, and we've got one here. We've adjusted the laps from 75 to 78 laps, and those fans tuning in from last season know kind of what the fuel strategies look like last season and how they work it just right to that lap number. Now we throw everything out the window. It's going to be completely different. How do you think those 3 extra laps are going to affect some of these teams and their fuel strategies tonight?
It's definitely going to affect them, especially if we have any late race cautions or someone tries to stretch out fuel a little bit. We definitely see it on green flag pit stops where we see a group of cars that will come in, and it's definitely up to them to figure out who's going to kind of dart all the way to the bottom, almost to the wall. You're going to have some guys that sit right behind another set of cars or trucks. And you might have some cautions right when the first set of green flag pit stops happen. So if you decide to stay out and you almost run out of gas, on the yellow flag, a lot of times these guys will run out of gas just because they stayed out so long. So if that happens at the end of the race, you might have some guys that want to stay out versus guys that definitely need to come in. So you might have some people that just have to just drop off those last 2 miles there.
Oh, absolutely. And personally, I feel weird. I feel like we're both kind of driver analysts, right? We've both been in these fields before, both driven with some of these guys. So we don't have just the main lead analyst here where it's kind of like 2 drivers talking back to back, but we're going to see a lot of different strategies tonight. But as we see that, we've got to look here as qualifying has just wrapped up here at Talladega Superspeedway. It's time to see our starting lineup. A lot of familiar faces here tonight, but also we've got a couple of new faces here. New season, new start, some recruiting races have happened. We got some new guys in the field. It's time to see who we've got in this starting grid. Starting in P1, we've got Kevin Freeze making a return to Area 51 alongside teammate Jimmy Crow in second. Gary Jenkins will be third place alongside defending series champion Gabe Butler in 4th. Vicente Guerrero will be 5th, and Charles Johnson will be rounding out that 6th position. Eric Laurie and Dean Wilkinson will be hosting row 4, and rounding out the top 10 in 9th and 10th place will be Tom Dixon and J.D. Crow. 11th place will be James Mohan, while Robert Rock rounds out that 12th position. Robert DuPont there in 13th, and Robert Duvendak in 14th. All 3 Roberts right there together. Got Jay Hilliard there in 15th, Bud Steele in 16th. And for those drivers that did not qualify, wanting to start at the back here, we have Bob Fitzgerald in 17th, Dan Harrington 18th, Randy Miner 19th, Todd Siebels, title contender last season, running in 20th, and Guy Bracco in rounding out the field in the 21st position. So, Chris, we've got these trucks gridded up. They're getting ready to roll here in just a few seconds. We've got a long pace lap here to discuss how we think the start of this race is going to be. Now, I've seen it 2 different ways, Chris. I've seen these guys go really, really aggressive right at the start, 3 and 4 wide before taking the first lap. And I've also seen them back off and get single file real quick. It's the first race of the season. We've had a couple weeks off. How do you think these guys are going to take these first few laps here tonight?
These guys been sitting in there kind of hibernating during their so-called off-season. I think everybody's raring to go, so you're going to see a little bit of aggressive play. That's kind of what I'm going to go with here. See who wants to be up front. I think these guys can definitely settle into single file racing. If not, a calm double file. But with the trucks, I think they're the most stable, car that we have, or the stable vehicle that we have on iRacing when it comes to, your C fix and C open. So it's very easy to draft and very easy to kind of make runs here. All you need is 2 or 3 cars on each side, and you can definitely make some surprising things happen. You can definitely kind of dictate the race a little bit.
Absolutely. So now as these guys start rolling down the backstretch, we see Kevin Freeze antsy to go here, trying to make a pass on the pace car just a little bit. Probably just trying to warm some tires up here, trying to get some temps in the engines, getting ready to go. Some people maybe even saving fuel right here at the start. We don't talk about that very much. But, with these extra 3 laps, anything can happen. One other thing to point out, too, folks, is we have 2 fast repairs this season instead of just 1. So when your favorite driver has to use up a fast repair early, not to fear, they still got another chance if a big wreck happens. And we saw quite a few big wrecks. So with 2 fast repairs, Chris, how do you think these guys take this? You think they really go aggressive longer in the race, or do you think they still try to save those fast repairs for right at the end when the money counts?
Definitely having that kind of extra life, or I guess 2 extra lives, does give you a little bit more boldness, I would say. You could be a little bit more aggressive and not really take away the consequence that you would if you never had a fast repair in the first place. But these guys are very respectful drivers. Everyone definitely gives each other enough room and enough fair play to each other. But with them having a second chance, you never know who might just decide to kind of just throw it out the window.
Absolutely, and as you can see, folks, the pace car has pulled in. Kevin Freeze in that beautiful 25 truck is about to lead the field to the Geico restart zone here, and the green flag is out for the season opener of the Thursday night Area 51 Truck Series, and here they go, roaring down into turn 1, side by side. A little bit of division in the pack, but other than that, they're getting lined up pretty quick, but the bottom line seems to be prevailing so far. What do you think, Chris? Go ahead and call her from here for a minute. Oh, and we got action. We got the 5 car getting all bent out of shape there. But he recovers nicely and keeps the pack with momentum. And now they're going to try to recover running down the backstretch to turn 3.
Now it's almost even Stevens coming down the back stretch where we have about 4 cars and 4 cars, inside and outside. So it's dead even. We're going to see who can kind of close up that little bit of that bubble effect. So these guys are going to come around the corner. I think the bottom line usually has more of the power, more of the staying power here. But the outside line definitely has a shot to get this first lap in.
Absolutely. We're going to see here in the tri-oval who gets the better run. The bottom lane looks a lot more organized here, but there is momentum at the top. It looks close. Oh!
I think the inside line got it.
I believe it was. Kevin Freeze by 12 one-thousandths of a second. Here we go. It took him one lap, and we're going 3 wide. But you know, Chris, it's really easy to go 3 wide here at Talladega, right? There's just so much room that's to be had, and a lot of speed up there, but I don't know how 2 trucks are going to make that work.
Definitely. Unlike Daytona, same type of driving style, but you can actually do 3 wide here pretty easily without any real repercussions. But these 2 cars, all the way up 3 wide, they'll stay up there for a little bit. They need a third truck to help them out, though.
Absolutely, and here the pack goes, just looking so organized, so clean. Other than our little incident with the 5 there early on, seems like everybody minding their P's and Q's, just trying to make some laps. And you know, as we make laps, these trucks, we kind of know an estimated fuel window from last season. We always looked around the 20 lap mark to start watching when these guys would be diving to pit road. Some would pit lap 20, some would pit lap 22. But now that we know we've got to make 78 laps and not 75, I would think you have got to make each run absolutely as long as you possibly can. But we know cautions can change those strategies very easy.
Oh, definitely. And if these guys are definitely 3 wide by, when it comes to the pit open time, they're going to have to figure out who's going to be able to go down there. So if a car's on the outside line up to the wall right there, and he needs to come down because he's about to run out, he's definitely going to have to drop to the back or figure out some way to get all the way down across everybody.
Absolutely. And, we watch these truckers every now and then, and we see that more times than not, those guys do get hung out to dry on the outside. But you talked about only 2 trucks on the outside. We said it wouldn't work. Well, they're starting to get some friends up there, and they're starting to make it work. 3 by 3 by 3 for the lead. And our defending series champion finding himself in a little bit of an awkward position right here, kind of in the middle of the hornet's nest, if you will. But we know Gabe Butler. We know their strategies. He's pulled out an amazing championship run last season, and it looks like he's trying to pick up right where he left off. He's not dropped to the back yet. He wants to lead a lap and get that elusive bonus point, doesn't he, Chris?
Oh, definitely. This is like I-5 going down LA. It's just there's nowhere to go if you're in the back. It seems like every time I watch this race or watch cars in the race, anyone that's on the outside making it 3 wide, you definitely need faith and you have to be a believer that line's going to work. And for these guys right now, 3 cars almost there. It's almost dead even coming to the line.
Absolutely. I mean, these guys keeping us on our toes. Jimmy Crow getting credited with that lap lead. And, tonight is really important. If these guys are going to start here tonight, we expect that most of these drivers will run the entire season. And Gael knows he knows me well enough throughout the seasons and running in previous series here in Area 51, how important those bonus points are and how some of these championships can come down to just 1 or 2 points different. I remember a few seasons ago with the Gen 6 series we used to run on Thursday nights, Larry Yingling and Ryan Kelly came down to 2 points to decide a champion. We've got some action in the back. Again. Some guys sitting down, and into the wall hard goes the 5. But being down there by himself, I don't know that that's going to bring out a yellow. He was a championship contender last season, a part of Team Bootknocker, not the start to the race he's looking for. And with no yellow out, that's really going to change the way this race develops. And look at how spread out the back half is.
Definitely a tough break for him. If we go back and look at the 16 car, he led the last lap when we came back around, and now he's in the back, and he pretty much avoided that wreck by going all the way back there. We never know. We won't know what would have happened if he were to stay up front.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, the wreck that happened in the middle, the cars just came right off the apron. So might not be race done if they can go ahead and get their fast repair, but they'll probably be a couple laps down.
And we see here on the replay, Chris, we see that wreck that happened earlier, and what a hard hit, all 4 wheels off the ground. We know how much that hurts. That is a hard impact into that wall, and it just looked like some guys pushing. It looked like Eric Laurie just pushing right out of the corner, and that's hard to do. We know about these trucks, right? These past couple seasons, they get really light in the rear end when you start laying the bumper to somebody, right? So whenever we saw them coming out of turn 4, we saw that it just lifted the back end up of that truck, and when JD tried to check up, it just got him loose as well. So unfortunate for him, but we are still green, and like I said, picking up where he left off, look who's leading the field. It's the one of Gabe Butler.
I don't know how that man does it. Obviously, he's a champion, previous champion, but it seems like no matter what situation he gets put in, he still finds a way to always be up front.
Absolutely, and he's got a familiar face behind him. Hasn't run Area 51 for a while, but qualified on pole here tonight. Kevin Freeze and Gabe Butler working together again in Area 51 could be detrimental to the rest of the field. These guys run plate races almost 5 and 6 days a week together in different leagues, different official races. This is practically their bread and butter, what all they do. They know every trick in the book, and they are both on this bottom line trying to command this race. But challenging on the outside is that 411 of Tom Dixon. We saw some strides of excellence from him last season, not getting all the finishes he wanted, but him and the 7 of James Muhan, they are working their way to the front. Charles Johnson moving up with them along with the 59. The outside's got more trucks in it. Can they get the momentum to see if they can control this race?
Yeah, you're definitely seeing a lot of guys trying to team up and work together now, and when doing that, you're having a little bit of opening up. So we saw in the middle, our third line just tried to form, and you had some open spots. So some guys in the bottom decided to go all the way up top, and you have some guys on the top decided to go all the way back to the bottom. So there's a little bit of shuffling going along, and I think these guys are going to try to calm it down and get 2x2 right now.
Absolutely action-packed race so far. We're already on the 9th lap here, running down the backstretch, lap 8, coming to complete lap 9, and these guys are going at it. And just for perspective, the 5 of J.D. Crow, we know he was a playoff driver last season, finds himself 1 lap down now in 21st, last place. He has no friends out there, Chris. He's all by himself, and I don't know how far he is off the pack, but I'm pretty sure they might swallow him up here pretty soon. It looks like maybe just half a straightaway back.
Yeah, he'll probably go 2 laps down, and one of the things that you have to look out for when you're leading the race like this is any cars that are going to be coming around the next turn or so. You got to call out if they can get down below off the racing line, or if they just want to sit there on the apron. But a lot of times you'll see that third line have to yield and sit back and get 2 lines just so you can get the lap car to go around, and that lap car will kind of sit there right along with that pack. Unfortunately for him, it's just a lap down, so he'll probably be 2. He needs another caution after this if he can get 1 or 2 more.
What he really needs is he needs this big gaggle of 3 wide vehicles up here to make some moves and unfortunately maybe have an accident up here to get him that yellow flag he might need. But we see this pack 3x3 running up on some lap traffic here, and when the lap car is down low, I'm telling you, that really shakes up things. But the lap car really has nowhere to go. That 08 of Bob Fitzgerald really doesn't have anywhere to go here. All 3 lanes are taken. He's going to take it down to the apron. He's going to stay out of the way knowing it's very early on. Smart move. He's just got to make sure he doesn't drift up into traffic. He seems to keep it low there. And these guys live to go chase down the 5 of J.D. Crow. Watch for him to maybe hook up with his teammates here. Even his teammates, the 1 of Gabe Butler, may, interestingly enough, try to pick him up and keep him out ahead of this pack to keep him the first car 1 lap down.
Yeah, I've definitely seen some strategies where teams try to go ahead and take both lanes. So they have one guy in the middle lane, or I guess the second lane right now, and you have the guy that's leading most of the race on the bottom lane. And whenever a third lane forms, that's usually when they start getting the real shifty blocks and kind of the quote-unquote Logano blocks that you usually see throughout the NASCAR season, in the last 5 years or so.
Absolutely. So 12 laps. We are here on lap 12, 11 laps in the books here. Just rocking around here, trying to make it to the end. Looks like JD's just going to get nice and up to the high side and try to maybe tag onto the tail end of this pack, maybe race his way back through them. But as we get deeper into this run, Chris, we've got to start thinking about pit stops, right? Pit strategy is going to be different. We've already talked about the extra 3 laps and how that could really change things. My opinion, Chris, you may differ than me. I think that takes some of the short pitting strategies these guys have done in the past out of the equation. I think it's going to be 3 equal stops, but I'm curious to see what you think the strategy might be for these guys if they have to pit under green.
It definitely takes a little bit of that advantage away from short pitting, like a lot of these guys kind of like to do. And if it was up to me, just a way that I want to be able to get as much speed every single lap that I want to, I'm going to be the first set of cars that want to pit. Everyone else kind of screws up or messes up their second or third time around. So if it's up to me, I'm getting my guys on that first round. I don't want to be the guys that kind of stay out. I want to be able to get in, get out, and start moving again.
Absolutely. There's definitely different strategies. I've got to say, if I was in this race, I might be one that lets the first group come down because they're the first ones of the season trying to come down and go from 180-something miles an hour down to a crawling, I think it's maybe 60 miles an hour here, maybe 70. Looks to be that pit road is... Sorry, folks, I am losing my place here, but pit road speed is 55 miles an hour, yes. So definitely an interesting thing to look at here. I don't know that I would want to be the first one rocketing down and having someone maybe rear end me or anything. But, you know, if you look at the laps and you look at how much these guys can go on fuel, we know maximum is like 21, 22 laps max. Do you think anybody tries to save fuel right from the get-go and stretch it to make it on one less stop than the others? Or do you think everybody maybe splits it up evenly and tries to come down at 20, 40, and 60?
I think if you're trying to save, you have to be in that kind of fourth or fifth line from the front. You definitely need to be able to get into the pack and suck up the truck with the draft. But you're at that point, you're kind of almost half throttle, even a quarter throttle sometimes if you get into the corner too fast and you get a really good draft. And you have a car pushing you, so you're really not doing too much if you're one of these fourth, fifth cars in line, especially on the bottom. It's the shortest way around the track. So you can save almost, I want to say, a lap or two if you do it really well from the beginning of the green. So these guys could definitely, kind of stretch it out. And if they want to divert their plans, they're almost setting themselves up for that option at the end, too.
Absolutely. But, the way I'm seeing them 3x3x3, and, a lot of these guys, when they typically try to save fuel, you'll watch some of these guys, will drift off of the back of the pack just a little bit. We see a couple trucks trying to do that. I don't know if that's them trying to save fuel or if the pack's going so fast they're just trying to keep up. But, it really makes me wonder, especially seeing Team Bootknocker, who typically likes to go to the back and kind of ride most of the race after they get a lap led. Seeing them stay up here and try to control the race from the get-go almost tells me that they're thinking about making some even stops. I would be really paying close attention to lap 20 to see if these guys try to split that into 3 even stops and make the last stop where they take the least amount of fuel.
Yeah, and that's kind of the name of the game, is the people that are always winning, or you have someone that's very successful in a series, you kind of want to do what they do and try to beat them at their own game. So if you see, Team Bootknocker, go off and they go into the pits first, you really might have a split-second decision where I need to be with those guys, even though I might not have any help, and they might overpower me, but you're on the same strategy as they are, and you want to give yourself the best chance to beat the guys that are the best. Kind of what Ric Flair said, to beat the best, you got to beat, to beat the best, you got to beat the best.
Absolutely, and we kind of see some movement here in this front pack. I believe that might be the 99 truck, that blue and yellow one, kind of making some moves, going to that third lane. Looks like he got tired of running in the middle, and it looks like they might be getting a great run down the back stretch heading into turn 3 to try to give a challenge to, looks like, 2 of these teammates here in the middle. Looking at these Team Extreme paint jobs here, took me about a few laps into the race to realize those 2 are teammates, but they have really not budged from these Team Bootknocker guys, and they're running a lane higher, so really they've got some more speed to them. But kind of doing an update on some of the teams here through the field, we don't see a lot of those TW bumpers up front this time, do we? We saw them last season in the playoffs really change their strategy and try to be up front, but look at some of these Team TW Motorsports guys. We can easily identify their team based on the white hoods here, but looks like they're just hanging out in the back. And, Sunday night's winner in the Xfinity Series Open on Sunday night for Area 51, Dean Wilkinson. We know he knows how to run these races. He had a shot at the championship here in the trucks last season. Looks like he's just hanging out in the back, biding his time with his running mate there, Todd Siebels. You think this is a good strategy, just hanging out most of this race?
It definitely is, especially when you kind of, with these trucks, they gain and they catch up to each other so fast that you almost have to run, 3 wide. You get big runs out of this truck. And if you kind of sit, almost a second back from the pack, you can just see things happen. And if you have an accident, you have just that much more time to react to it or see where everyone's going. And if you have to go to the apron, or you have to go all the way up and take your car somewhere else that it doesn't need to be, you actually have that chance to move around instead of being in the pack and kind of just, hopefully if I crash, it's not that big.
Absolutely, and as we see these leaders running down the backstretch with that beautiful camera view, Gael should be a cameraman in person, man. Is he not doing a wonderful job for us tonight? We see these guys rocketing into turn 3, getting ready to run out of turn 4. We're coming to start lap 20. This is where I would start watching to see if people make that dive to pit road or what their plan's going to be. I think they're going to stay out this time, but I think next time we might see some takers because notice, Chris, we're getting a lot of guys single file down on the bottom. They're trying to get ready to plan for these pit stops. They're finding their teammates and seeing when it's time.
Oh, definitely. They're getting ready for it. And when you see it, the big thing to focus on is kind of who's going to run to the back of another person. If the first car can make his direct move, it's up to the next guy to figure out how to kind of stagger that. And you can fit a lot of cars down pit lane. It narrows up right at the cone. But if you can get that many cars to kind of figure out and stagger themselves, it'll be really beneficial to the first group that goes in.
Absolutely. You got any ideas of who might be the first takers as far as these teams go? You think the guys in the back may be the ones to pull it first?
I think it's the first pack right here that everyone's coming in. Even people from the second row's going in. And we have a wreck.
Yeah, we've got a wreck with a Team Boot Knocker guy and Team Extreme. But tons of cars coming down first, and that's my worry about cars coming in so early. We got guys driving through pit stalls and everything else, just trying not to hit each other. This could be Calamity Corner down here on pit road. We'll have to see who shakes out in the lead after these stops.
Oh, man. Unfortunately, when they had that wreck, the truck did not come back up above the yellow line, so there's no yellow.
Oh, absolutely, but these guys are probably okay with that. They're trying to just get these stops completed. Now we see these other guys, they stayed out for a reason. Yes, they're not in a big pack, but they did not have their pit stops slowed down from those guys having to check up for the incidents. Look for the rest of this pack probably to go ahead and come on down this time. We see the 7 moving down way early, the 59 going around, and it looks like, for the most part, the rest of these trucks are going to head on into pit lane.
Yeah, you just had the last truck leave pit lane. He's on the apron now, and the rest of these guys are coming in. So we'll see a big difference in who can kind of get that advantage. If these guys had a lot more time to get down pit lane, they can get in real clean. These guys still have to get settled out and figure out what they're going to do. But I think the first group did all right besides that one wreck. We're already, they're already ganged up and packed up again.
Absolutely. The big loser in all this, and I don't mean to call him like a loser. That's not what I'm doing. That sounded bad. But Kevin Freeze here, man, having that unfortunate incident of just some guys coming in a little hotter than others. But we see Gabe Butler had a great run coming out of pit road, but this is the sacrifice. Look at the big run. It looks like Charles Johnson's going to make the move on him. Got a teammate behind him, similar paint jobs. Looks like they're going to try to rocket past Gabe and see if they can control this pack. But definitely got some winners and losers on these pit stops. Once it all cycles out, we'll try to go through the field.
He had about 100 feet before he hit the start-finish line and lost 2 positions just like that. That's how fast that pack drafting can do for you when you're just out there all alone.
Look at these other guys. They pitted a lap later, and did they really lose any time? We see the 14 of Vicente Guerrero just blending right into this pack like he was right there with them the whole time. That's my thing. If you come in first, you are taking the risk of having a lot of these guys make accidents, make mistakes. They haven't done these green flag pit stops in a couple weeks. They haven't been with some of these new drivers that might be in the field tonight. So definitely interesting how these packs shook out, whether you pitted first or last. And just looking at the map here, we see a few stragglers. Gael, if we can, let's go see if we can see some of the guys that might have unfortunately lost the pack due to some of these incidents. Looks like the 07 of Robert DuPont and the 82 are falling off a little bit here. At least they've got each other, but it's going to be a long, hard push to see if they can catch that pack in front of them. We see the 7 here definitely losing some time. The 7 of James Mohan running up front all race long, unfortunately not able to get the pit stop he wanted through all that. Cycling a little bit farther back, we now see the 69 of Guy Bracco. Just unfortunate in all those incidents. He might have been the one that Kevin Freeze got turned on the nose of right there, so that really slowed him down a lot. And then there we go, one of the fastest trucks I think we had in the field. And I don't really, I'm not biased. I don't pick, but if I had to pick anybody to go out and try to win this race, it would be that 25. And we see that right rear damage. That's definitely got to be killing the aerodynamics of this truck. So definitely had 4 or 5 guys that unfortunately lost a lot of time. The closest driver to the pack, or at least to somewhat the pack would be Robert DuPont. He's 8.7 off of the leader. Back to the lead, though, we see that the one of Gabe Butler, after all that, he had that big lead. Now we see a switch. TW was hanging out in the back the whole time. Now they've got a commanding race lead here over some of the Team Bootknocker guys and some others in the field. Maybe tonight could be TW's night, Chris.
They absolutely took the opportunity and ran with it. Now they're sitting up front. It's going to be interesting seeing how everything just changed after that pit stop. I think what we're looking at right now is a good opportunity for these guys to play around a little bit, figure out what runs or how can they kind of gatekeep the front of this pack right now. So they're back to 2 wide. You see some 3 wide trying to happen again. So it's going to be very interesting to see this kind of experimental, I call round 2. Because they still got 2 more pit stops left.
Absolutely, and looking at the pit stops here, if we had our typical 75 lap race, I would really be in favor of those guys that stayed out 1 more lap to get fuel and have a little bit extra, because they could do that each stop and maybe make it on fumes to the end. But adding those 3 other laps, Chris, it's changed everything. I think the strategy here tonight, I don't want to say that, and disclaimer, I didn't talk to any of these drivers. Gael is my witness. Did not talk to any of these drivers before the race, and seeing that they kind of thought the same way I did of splitting this race up into 20-lap runs where they can have an 18-lap run to the finish. Their thought process, Chris, take the least amount of fuel as possible on that last stop so they can make the pit stop quicker.
Yeah, I think some of the guys that kind of sit in the back right now, they might have accidentally took 4 tires, where some of these other guys might have took no tires. So I think if you had a longer pit stop, that definitely puts you in the back and kind of puts you behind the ball, where a lot of these guys they got on the same strategy. They all took the same type tires or fuel. But 3 stops, that strategy is real sound. There's nothing wrong with that strategy that you had.
Absolutely, and you bring up the tire strategy, and for maybe folks turning in just for their first truck broadcast on iRacing, interesting strategies you're able to run at these plate races. Everybody debates, do we need tires, do we not? Chris, do you think you can explain maybe the strategy behind taking tires versus not taking any at all for the fans at home?
If say you were 2 of your buddies, so the 3 of y'all come down the pits and y'all decide to not take tires, and there's a group of another 3 cars behind you, and they do take tires. That time of difference of just taking fuel and not taking tires is about a good 3, 4, maybe even 5, depending on how you get into your pits. And to be 5 seconds out in front and not really have that much tire wear, if you guys get in real clean, could be a huge difference between where the pack is right now that you guys see on TV versus the guys that are, about 6 cars, 7 cars back.
Absolutely, as we see these leaders 3x3 for the lead. Ooh, and just a close move. It looks like Todd Siebel's made on his teammate Randy Miner there in the 101 to get clear in front of him. That was almost, we seen some action like that last season where a leader got hooked trying to make that move. But that 99, he is not giving up, is he? He is trying to make moves out here. I don't know. It looks like a new face to the league if he's got any teammates, but he's going to slot down in front, and he's going to be in front of 3 great plate racers in Todd Siebels, Dean Wilkinson, and Vicente Guerrero, but he's going to take that lead and try to get a lap led here tonight.
Oh, I love it. Well, as soon as you get out to the front, you kind of have a little bit of a parachute happening to you. You have the cars push. And then that second or third line sometimes ends up getting just enough to put that next car in front of you. So there's a little bit of a leapfrog game to it when you get a lot of the energy push from the second line. So you see these guys right now, they're almost dead even. But if you can get a little bit more pressure from the outside, I think that is Robin Duvendak, I want to say. He might just come down and take the spot right here.
Absolutely. Looks like as soon as he gets the lead, he gets that middle lane to get a huge run. These guys can't lead more than 1 or 2 laps at a time. But, a driver I really haven't talked about much tonight, that we haven't talked about, that I'd love to make mention of tonight, is that 14 of Vicente Guerrero. One of our playoff drivers last season. I love getting to highlight some of those 8 drivers that really got to race for a championship. Some of them had some unfortunate races, but all last season, we saw that 14 have incredible speed, make some great moves, and just not have the finishes there at the end. Chris, I don't know how much of last season you were able to see, but I can tell you that 14 has speed. Do you think maybe he's showing tonight that he's got what it takes to be one of these championship contenders? The truck looks clean.
Sometimes it takes a season or two of just heartbreak and just not getting that coveted first win that you just need. But when you see a season opener like this and you can seize your opportunity, this is a great chance for that 14 truck to get his win, get his stable. He seemed to rack up a lot of points, just was never able to get away with that elusive first place. So I think this might be a good chance for him. He has a strong truck, and he's coming around the corner. Almost might take this lead.
Absolutely. He's got the momentum there in that outside lane. Got one of the Team Extreme guys there. The 411 of Tom Dixon pushing hard. And then we've got the 59 of Jay Hilliard. We know he's always here in these plate races. And that middle lane starting to form. It went from 2 drivers to 5 fairly quick. That's really all it takes is we see the TW guys. They want none of this. They've led their laps. They've gotten their bonus point. And they're going right back to the back. But something I do want to point out that we haven't touched on this particular run. Guess who's not up front anymore and hasn't tried to get back up front? Can you take a guess, Chris, at what truck I might be talking about?
I'm going to guess the one, since he's sitting just outside the pack right now, the main pack.
Absolutely. What do you think that strategy is he's trying to pull, Chris? Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Maybe a little saving fuel, maybe trying to make that last pit stop as short as he can the rest of the race?
It's definitely on his mind. I think that's why he's a champion.
Absolutely. So he got up front, and think about it. These guys have been swapping the lead up here, right? They're not really getting to lead a ton of laps. In Area 51, you get a bonus point for leading a lap, but you also get one for leading the most. Gabe Butler seemed to get quite a few laps led, it seemed, in that last run. And fans at home, I'm sorry that I don't have the information up here to see just how many laps he's led thus far in the race. But I think it'd be more than any of the other drivers in the field. He might feel secure about having that most laps led point. And we see the 99 has also dropped to the back here with one of the TW drivers and just going to try to sip off the back of this pack and save some fuel. And do you think this run might be a little calmer than the first one, Chris?
It definitely is. Where, as we saw when they were first doing the first round of green flag pit stops, we had the wreck, we had the. It wasn't a caution, but we definitely had a little bit of a chaotic entry. And then the second pack was only about 3 or 4 cars. So these guys might be trying to level it out a little bit better, where they don't have the same problems. As we see the front pack go 3 wide again, and those cars, it's amazing to see how 2 cars on the outside from so far back can almost even out and almost get the lead right off the bat.
Absolutely, and you can make 3 trucks, I believe, truly run that entire outside lane, even though there could be plenty of others in the bottom. And we see 3 trucks up there now. If they can just stay in line and not wiggle around so much, they can have some great momentum, as it looks like the 16 may have just had that lap. And check this out, between second and third, 2 1,000ths of a second separated second and third on that lap. So definitely got some guys up here racing hard for this. Got some TW guys, went to the back, but now working their way back up to the front. Not really, though, seeing, I think, any clear favorites so far. It seems like everybody's been equal opportunity on leading laps and running up front, but also hanging out in the back. But, when you have a smaller field of just 21 trucks, you'll have that sometimes. So definitely got some interesting strategies going on. While we've got a calm break here, Gaio, I think you'll be okay with this. Let's go ahead and check out our last 3 positions, because this could be major when it comes to the points championship here. We see the 25 of Kevin Freeze, 1 lap down. The 69 of Guy Bracco, and the 7 also now going 1 lap down. Kevin Freeze was the lucky dog candidate, may still be if he's hanging out in this pack, getting to pass these guys. That would be huge if a yellow come out to put him back in the race. But 2 guys that just had an unfortunate incident and did not get the caution they needed, really struggling here tonight and going to hurt them in their chase for the playoffs, is going to be Bob Fitzgerald in the 08 and JD Crow in the 5. They are 2 laps down. And with already 34 laps in the book, coming to put 35 down in the books, it's going to be a tall task to try to ask to get 2 laps back. And, Chris, I don't know if you've raced with JD Crow before, but let me tell you, this guy's like a restrictor plate genius. To see him in dead last is kind of mind-blowing to me right now.
You know, I was getting ready to say that sometimes being a lap down might not be the worst thing. Obviously, the race did not go your way, but being a lap down or being even 2 laps down and kind of just banking and going, betting on the house that there's going to be a wreck within, either the last 10 laps or even with, 40 to go. And just being that lucky dog and kind of just always sitting in the back. You're resigned to sit in the back being the lap down car. And if you can still stay with the front pack, you're honestly not that bad if you can just avoid the wreck, get the lucky dog, and with, 5 or 4 laps to go, on a restart, you're right back in there. And all you had to do was just be back on the lead lap, and now you're back in the fight. So it's very interesting to see what might play out for him, but this might be the big brain smart play right now.
Absolutely, and we're starting to see some of these drivers, the outside lane, falling apart just a little bit here. But notice the lap count. We are on lap 37. We pitted at lap 20 and 21 last round. Probably looking for similar laps in 40 and 41, I would imagine here. One question to ask before these pit stops start, though. Knowing we had 2 faster pairs and not just 1, are you maybe surprised these guys haven't already had a massive wreck or been just super aggressive right at the start? Are you maybe surprised that we haven't seen something just yet and we went caution free knowing there's that many faster pairs?
We haven't seen too much in aggressive driving. We've definitely seen some, late cut downs or late blocks, but it hasn't been too bad. I think these guys probably had a meeting before the race started or even, before the day started where, they wanted to be respectful and make sure that this 2, faster pair system doesn't get abused. And that's a testament to this league for staying here so long. We have people come in and out, but you kind of always have your mainstays here. And it takes a community to, keep a league alive. So to everyone kind of agree upon a 2 fast repair system is just a testament to the respect of this league. But I think as the season goes on, you might have, a couple outliers, a couple bad wrecks, but yet to see, knock on wood, don't want to jinx anybody. We're coming to the next set of, green flag pit stops, and I think these guys are doing all right so far.
Absolutely. Looks like these guys are trying to calm down. That outside lane has gotten solidified, but some of these guys are some of those lap down ones that just trying to maybe make their way back through a little bit. We see that 25 of Kevin Freeze. He's trying to earn his lap back, one of them, the hard way. That way, if a caution does come out, he can at least be 1 lap down and try to fight for a lucky dog. I like that strategy. Do things you've got to do to keep yourself in the hunt. But as we go to do pit stops again, do you think we might see another incident like we did earlier, or do you think these guys may not all try to come the exact same lap and maybe they'll split up a little bit where it's not so congested?
I think the problem last time was that we had people from the outside or even 3 lanes down wanted to go ahead and come down and pit. And right now, you only see 2 cars on the outside. So these guys are probably going to come down, I want to say the next lap, maybe the next 2 laps. So they're already setting themselves up. Now the real question is, are they going to be coordinated enough to, scramble and stagger themselves? I think that's the real main question here. And I think because they don't want to have another wreck like last time, I think these guys will do all right this time.
Absolutely, and as they get ready to pit, one last question, because I'm really curious on this, and I mean this in no disrespectful way at all, but it just came to mind. Do you think the 3 extra laps that got added might have took away a competitive advantage as far as having more diverse pit strategies? Do you think this maybe locked these guys into these 20-lap runs?
I think it does, because you don't want to be behind on a pit stop when you see what the top guys do. You see the boot knockers and TW, and you see these guys that dominate. And for me, if I was in this league, whatever Gabe Butler is going to do, since he's a defending champion, I'm following him. Even though I might have an advantage of doing something different, I'm just going to follow that man. He's a successful winner, and I'm going to sit there and try to learn what he does and try to beat him at that game.
Absolutely. We see 2 of the TW guys that stick together through and through most of the time. Believe it's the 55 and the 45 coming down pit road to get their service done. They didn't want to come with the big pack. They're hoping just to get a good, clean stop, and they're really hoping this big wad comes down this next time, slows themselves down again so they can be right back in the hunt and maybe up in the lead. But I think the rest of these guys, they're thinking they want to go as long as humanly possible. 16, does he have a problem? Is he maybe sputtering and out of fuel here? Did he run the tank too long?
He might be. He's definitely slow from where everyone else, and everyone's already in. You have some guys that are fast, some slow. There's almost some contact right there.
I believe he pushed it as far as he could, but this is exactly what TW wanted, a big, large pack, but they did a lot better this time, but somebody ran into the back of that 16 truck and gave it damage. I saw it changing as he was pulling down on the apron, almost like a ghost hit maybe, but he's going to crawl to his pit stall. This is painstaking, knowing he's going to lose the draft here. Maybe he needs to pit that lap sooner next time, but looking to be that these guys can only go about 20 to 21 laps max, kind of what we thought coming into this race. But I'm seeing some guys with tire changes, but a lot look like they're just taking fuel only here. The 99 looks like
a car spinning. You have a car spinning right at the start-finish line. I think that was the 9 of Charles Johnson.
Oh, the 9 of Charles Johnson spinning right there. Sometimes this has brought out a caution before, too, since iRacing knows this is where the pit exit is. But it looks like we're going to continually stay green here. A lot of single-car incidents here tonight that haven't brought out a caution. But look at those TW guys. They came in clean, and look at the runs they got staying out. And I'm sorry, it was not the 45 with the 55. It was the 171 there of Robert Rock that pitted with Dean Wilkinson there, and they get to a commanding lead. Now the difference here, Gabe Butler had a little lead like this earlier, but he was by himself. These two are able to push each other. I don't think they're going to stay out that far that long. There's power in numbers, but I definitely think they'll have enough momentum that it's going to be hard for this pack to try to just completely mow them down and pass them.
Yeah, looking at it right now, they're getting past now. Are getting a little bit into a scuffle right there, where it's 2 and 2. But going back to the question that you asked me about taking no tires or taking some tires, I think the 9 definitely didn't take tires, and your tires are still hot. So when you come off and you're sitting there in second or third gear trying to run up and get on the apron, you're gonna kind of, I don't want to say wheel down the gas, but you spin out because your tires are still hot and you just have no grip. So that might have been the case there for the 9, and hopefully he can get back in this race, unfortunately for him. But seems like the 171 and the 171 staying out right now, out in front.
Absolutely. Looks like their strategy worked to perfection, giving them the lead. Now does Dean Wilkinson try to challenge title contender from last year, Gabe Butler, and try to lead most of the laps in this run, preparing for that final pit stop, knowing now how many laps he can make, knowing there's really not a fuel save strategy. If he pits at the same time, he's going to pit at lap 60, and instead of making 20 laps, it's just a 2-lap difference. So there's really nothing to save here. Maybe he tries to take a commanding lead and get the most laps led bonus point here tonight. But definitely Gabe Butler, I think, smells the strategy going on here. He's trying to weasel his way to the front, but he is in a TW sandwich here. In front of him, beside him, and behind him. And, I only see one of his teammates behind him, and it's Eric Laurie back there in the 071.
Yeah, if you look at the packs right now, I think half the field has been kind of self-spins and other type of misfortunes, where we have the front pack right now. There's only half the field, so it almost feels like an episode of Survivor where everyone just keeps getting voted off the island. And we might see the second pack actually have more cars and can kind of come back from this race. But right now we have these cars sitting here 2x2. Gabe Butler needs to kind of figure out what he wants to do, because he's out of options right now with teammates and friends.
Absolutely, these guys mixing it up, and it looks like through the pit stops, Kevin Freese has kept himself only 1 lap down. Wanted to point that out here, fighting the 7 of James Moen for that lucky dog spot. 15th is the first car 1 lap down, but as the leaderboard continues to just constantly update, we're seeing these guys shift around, and Dean Wilkinson been passed by that 99. The 99 really wanting to make a statement here, Robert Duvenbach. He's really wanting to try to do what he can, but 55, we know after last season he wants redemption. I really feel like he wants to be trying to lead most of these laps.
Yeah, leading's a whole different ball game than just kind of following the pack. When you're leading, you're honestly not even looking in front of you for the most part. You're kind of looking in the back, just trying to see if you can sense a run from the outside or even a third line, and you got your buddy pushing you. You're honestly just kind of sitting there. You hug the yellow line. That's all you're really looking at your peripheral, and then the rest of the time you're just looking in the back. So if you're not used to that, it's very I don't know what the word is, a foreign experience for you. So once you get that experience under your belt, you can kind of just sit there. And for someone experienced like Gabe Butler, he's done that so many times that I don't know if Robert Duvendeck has led too many times in the league, but very experienced driver himself. But it's a whole other ball game. We got two teammates trying to kind of gang up on you.
Absolutely. And, these two on the outside lane, I'm pretty impressed with this. They are keeping pace as we see the 99 decide he doesn't want to lead. He doesn't feel comfortable. He wants to drop off to the back and just ride, maybe concerned about his fuel number. We saw the 16 run out of fuel running hard last run. Maybe these guys are starting to think we might not even be able to make the 20 laps we want to make, right? So you think maybe some of these guys might start being concerned about fuel a little bit here? Or do you think it's just kind of a driver's preference thing where they want to be right now?
I think they keep looking at it. It's definitely something to take notice of, where you might see some people lead and automatically just drop off just like he did. But we got, a couple more laps to figure out if you want to sit there in the front or kind of just chill in the back. So right now, it's up to these guys to get single file and just make this a quote-unquote boring and calm race. But I think right now the best thing is for these guys to just try to save fuel.
Absolutely. And folks, I know we haven't went through the field a little bit. I guess this is a good time to try to check in on some of these other packs. We see as we go through the field and find our second pack of cars, some of these guys that just lost the pack a little bit. Look here, we see the 59, the 25, the 08, and I cannot catch the number on that car. I'm sorry, that beautiful Home Depot. I believe it's maybe the number 90 of Gary Jenkins. Yes, it is. Just trying to ride here, trying to do what they can, but a group of four can only make so much speed. They're kind of off that second pack. We still got the 25 here. He is now the first car one lap down. It looks like the 7 has made his way to the tail end of the lead lap. That's good news for Kevin Freeze. But as we continue to go, yeah, we see the 7 there up front, battling with Dean Wilkinson. He wants to earn that lap back the hard way, or maybe just wants to help Kevin, either or. But as we go through some of these other packs and just see maybe some of the misfortunes that have happened here, we see our next pack here. It looks like a pack of 3 with the 82, the 9 of Charles Johnson that had that unfortunate incident on pit road. He found some friends. And the 69 of Guy Bracco, they are trying just to survive, hoping for a caution here to get them back in the game. And I believe there may be another pack here. Yes, the 07 and the 5 back here, just trying to make laps at this point. JD Crow has picked up a couple positions. The 411 and the 16 are 5 and 6 laps down. I didn't catch to see if they had maybe dropped out of the race or not due to an accident. We might have missed something here, folks. But looks like JD Crow is now 19th, and that can be huge when it comes down to a championship if it comes to just 1 or 2 points here, folks. But definitely helping out JD Crow and Bob Fitzgerald, who are our last 2 drivers currently on track. Gael, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the 411 and the 16 may not be running anymore.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, you are correct. Yeah, Jimmy Crow Jr., Tom Dixon looked like they have retired. Although Tom is still sitting on pit road, but yeah, it looked like maybe either hardware issue or something. He kind of just parked it and then took a tow to the pit. So unfortunately, it looks, and Jimmy Crow has indeed retired from the 16 truck. But yeah, it looks like probably night over for the 2 of them. And yeah, so chiming in and looking at, I've been watching the lap times while you guys have been kind of running through the field, and this second pack, I'm not too sold that they're out of the running here, because that group with Kevin Freeze and company, they've been running some pretty solid laps right now. The 50-26. Oh, actually, as I say that, the reason why they're running solid laps, they've caught that group, actually, Maxwell. I apologize. And Kevin Freeze actually now is putting himself, like you said, trying to get lap back the old-fashioned way. He is working on that as he's actually pushed Jay Hilliard to the point. Now Gabe Butler looks like he's going to play teammate, try to get Kevin to the tail end of that lead lap.
Absolutely. Gael, I got to pick your brain for one more thing. How many times have you seen that 25 and that 1 work together throughout these leagues in Area 51? I know you've been broadcasting since the very beginning, and man, these guys have just stick together like glue when they're on the track together, don't they?
Oh yeah, no, those two are a force to be reckoned with. When they're locked on together and kind of in just full song, that's a duo that are very, very difficult to try to beat up on. And I'm saying that's what it's going to take. It's going to take a lot of organization. I think Jay Hilliard's actually starting to get that right now with those teammates. That 101 right behind him, Randy Minor. The 90 hopping on board as well. So that being said, though, I got to give a big shout out to those guys like Jay Hilliard, Kevin Freeze, the 90 Gary Jenkins coming, because they chased that group, the lead pack, back down to get back into the mix of this one. And it's, like I said, it's opened up the life for Kevin Freeze, for the 7 truck, and even for the 90 as well, I believe. Or no, sorry, I'm sorry, the 90's already a lead lap. But yeah, it's pretty much brought a few trucks right back to life here to give them a chance to get those laps back.
Absolutely. Gael, good to hear you chiming in here in the broadcast. I know you're trying to hang behind the scenes, but it's almost like having a pit reporter down there to kind of help give us some information, right, Chris? Kind of like that little extra eye in the sky for us.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We call him Dr. Jerry Gael. I guess we can do that. Very, very great report. It's always nice to be here with you, Gael, and it's fun to be up here with you for the first time, Max.
Absolutely. I think this is my first time with you too, Chris. For a first race, feel like it's meshing really well. I think we're just two drivers that have similar viewpoints on how this restrictor plate racing goes. Ran this season 2 years ago as a driver with Team Bootknocker, and found myself too many times in the lead getting wrecked in turn 4 coming to the checkers in those big massive wrecks. Something we could easily see tonight coming to the checkered flag. So definitely interesting group of guys here that like to run, but we are getting close. We are on lap 54. We got 53 of them in the books, trying to get 54 closed in on, and that means we're getting close to lap 60, Chris. It's going to be the money stomp. Do you think the pressure may be getting to some of these drivers? Maybe they've seen 2 different pit road instances where we had a wreck coming onto pit road and then we had a driver wreck off of pit road. Maybe these guys, it's been green, so they haven't took tires maybe all race long. Do you think now would be the time? Would they have waited this long to try to take tires, or do you got to try to milk these tires from lap 1 all the way to lap 78?
I think seeing a couple trucks kind of mess up coming off pit road the last time, and just knowing how much you're going to have to run this car or this truck a little bit harder on the last couple of laps, you might just want to go ahead and just take the tires. You're not losing that much time that I think it's going to really hurt or affect your team. If you get a good run like we just saw Jay Hilliard do about 5 or 6 laps ago, he came from about almost 10th place at the start of the tri-oval, blew by everybody on a 2-car tandem, and was in the lead by the time we got into turn 1. So if you're able to sit there and get everybody kind of lined up and get that energy flowing, it's definitely beneficial for you to just go ahead and take the tires, get all that energy, get that good chemistry going, and come right back to the front with about 20 laps to go.
Absolutely, but we talked about the difference in taking tires and taking none. For the last stop, I mean, even if you take tires, is being 4 and 5 seconds behind the others going to be worth it here at the end? Is that tires going to be enough to get you the victory, or is track position going to be what's critical here tonight?
Track position can definitely help, but I think I'd rather have a good handling car to be able to make the moves that I need to make versus someone that probably just doesn't have the tires, and they might cause a wreck just because they are flipping. You see these guys snake down the straights and stuff like that, so you might have some bad blocks due to the fact that the truck's handling very bad. So if I have good tires, I'm able to make really, good choices and go 3 wide, and someone can't defend that, fast enough. Either we're going to have a wreck, or you're going to have to yield and give me that spot because I have the better handling truck.
Absolutely. So I tell you what, Chris, first time me and you here in the booth, I'm going to make a fake bet with you, okay? I'm going to bet that the majority of these guys do not take tires here for this last stop. I think track position is going to be king. I think if you give up track position with only 18 laps to go, you're crazy. And I can't guarantee that you're going to be able to mow all those guys down and the tires are going to make that much of a difference. I think the pit stop speed's where it's going to matter. Are you placing bets on the tires are going to be what wins this race?
Since this is a friendly bet, I definitely have to go with taking the tires and seeing what I could do from 5 seconds back. Might be a caution, you never know. And if I have the better tires, you're going to have to pit for another set if you have to.
Absolutely. And guys that watching here on the broadcast, Chime in with us in the chat here. Let's see what you think the best strategy is going to be for these drivers coming to the home stretch as we are on lap 58. We're about 2 laps away from seeing what's going to happen. So if you're listening in and you're able to, go ahead and chime in the chat. I'm sure Gael can watch that for us and see what some of you guys are thinking. He can interact with you fans a little bit tonight. Let's see what you think. Tires or no tires? What is going to get you the checkered flag here tonight? So, updating our front pack here. I know it looks deceiving. Kevin Freeze is not your leader. He is currently running in the 13th position, last car on the lead lap. Working with his teammate Gabe Butler, who is leading. It's almost a win-win. You get your teammate out there staying on the lead lap, you're getting to stay behind a guy, and anytime there's pressure from behind, you can just push yourself away. We know these two can work together very well, and Gabe has no reason to have to pass that 25 right now. But some different players in the mix here toward the end. Haven't seen much of him here tonight, but the 6 of Bud Steele running a strong second place tonight. 59 of Jay Hilliard. No, he's a great plate racer running in third. Dean Wilkinson and Vicente Guerrero, 2 playoff drivers from last season, rounding out your top 5 here. And then going through the rest of your top 10, we have Gary Jenkins in the 90, the 071 of Eric Lurie, the 101 of Randy Miner, the 99 of Robert Duvenbedak, and then we have Robert Rock in the 171 wrapping up your top 10. And the only way I was able to do that was these cars are single file.
I've been poking it onto the chats here. Sorry, Chris. And so right now, our taker right now is Cody Nagels, and he is saying 2 tires tops, never taken 4 on green flag run. And Kevin Nagels popping in as well, lefts and go. So I agree with both of them. I think 2 tires will be the way to go on this one. I think with these trucks having to fill to the brim, probably put in second cannon, I think you can get away with 2 cans. And I like the idea of lefts. I like the idea of you don't have to put that jackman on the other side of the truck. You keep them on the left side, jack it up, get the fuel in, maybe even fuels a little faster because you got gravity working your side. I don't know if iRacing's got that implemented or not, but hey, we'll say it does. But I think we're about to see a bunch of trucks hit pit road.
So let me come in here to lap 60. So we got 3, 4, maybe 5, some of the guys in the back of the pack. So the majority of the back, we see TW Motorsports. They are sticking to the strategy, 20, 40, 60. Those boys are making me look smart right now. They made it work the last stop, getting out ahead of the pack to get that track position. Maybe this is where it's going to be. Let's see if we see any 2 tires. I'm seeing quite a bit of fuel only here. But some are taking some lefts. Yes, we are seeing some left side tires, some fuel only, but no 4 tire stops here. It's going to lose you way too much time because you got to remember, you may not have as much fuel that you have to take. This is 2 laps less of a run here going to the end, and these guys staying out, they know it. Instead of making 18 laps, they've only got to make 17. That could be a half second to a second on pit road in fuel, and could make all the difference in getting their track position. As here comes everybody else, the 071 of Eric Lurie, a little squirrely getting in. We see some brake lockups here as these guys are about 3 wide down pit road. And kudos to these last 2 stops with the amount of drivers pitting of how they've done. But now nobody's going to give an inch here on pit road. Everybody's cutthroat. Oh, and we see contact. The 7 and the 6. The 6 running second place before he came in. Made contact. Did not see the 7 there below him. Both those trucks are going to have to take a fast repair on this stop and hope that they don't lose this lead draft. I saw the 1 not take any tires. He's our previous champion. Is that going to be the go? I'm telling you, I think no tires might be the way to go with this, but some are taking lefts as they pull out. We see Gabe Butler, the Randy Miner in the 101, the 14 of Vicente Guerrero, but we see a hungry pack of trucks trying to come up here. Let's see how they all blend in here, Chris, out of turn 2.
I think those TW Motorsports guys definitely got hooked up, and we're going to see when they come into turn 3 what's going to happen. There's a car on the outside, and they're getting right by him. So a little bit sketchy coming up there, but TW out in front right now.
Absolutely. They pulled this off the last time. They have, you know what? If I had a pit stop award to give these 2 drivers, I'd give it to them. I think they played the strategy right. They've got the 45 of Todd Siebels right there with them. It's a TW Motorsports top 3 and 2 bootdockers up here with Gabe Butler with really no teammates here. It looks like, though, maybe one of the TW guys is going to push a competitor. That's interesting. I would have stayed with my teammates there and left Gabe Butler out to dry. And even the 25 is not going to be able to keep with that one. His pit stop's not going to be fast enough to stay there. The one is really going to work hard to get a top 3 finish here tonight. But let me tell you, the reason we're talking about it is he pulls it off time and time again. But look at the 7 here. I don't know, is he maybe a lap down now? Yes, he ended up, unfortunately, going a lap down in all that pit road chaos. So he is not on the lead lap here, but he is with the lead pack. Could lapped cars, Chris, make a difference in who wins this race tonight?
Oh, they surely can. We already saw, Gabe was in second place but leading the race while he was pushing his teammate. So that might happen again where you just have no choice but to push a lap down car that's in the lead just so you can kind of hopefully get him in front. So we'll definitely see some lap cars as these guys run down some of these lap down cars. They'll either come high, come low. You might have the bottom line have to push up, and that second line becomes the third line. So these guys just have to stay aware and be aware of what's happening, about 5, 6, 7 seconds ahead of them, and seeing how much they're tracking down the next set of lap down cars.
Absolutely. So now as we get ready to start coming toward the end of this, we're on lap 64, coming around 3 and 4 to try to complete this lap. Run into lap 78, still pretty well a full run. Everybody's playing nice right now. I know these guys are running with the one of Gabe Butler, but when we come down to 5, 4, 3 to go here, do you feel like Gabe Butler might be on an island by himself? Do you think these guys are just playing nice to get that 2x2 side draft that kind of makes this pack run a little quicker to try to break away? And do you think they might ditch him here at the end, or do you think they're really trying to help Gabe Butler win yet another race in this series?
It almost feels like they're trying to set him up to be the fall guy, where right now he's in the lead, but it's 2x2 is complete teammates, so they might try to trap him here in a couple seconds and a couple laps where we'll get the car out front, you get a guy on the side, and you get someone right behind him, not pushing him as hard as you would. So they might just try to trap him, force him to not be able to win this race and get a TW car. TW by any means necessary, I think, is these guys' mantra here right now with about less than 15 laps to go.
Absolutely, and we saw the 101 get a little bit squirrely on the bumper of the one truck. The pushes are getting harder. The action's going to get tighter. Look how tight these top 8 are. I mean, nose to tail. They're not going to lift at this point with the lap change. Honestly, I think something we're going to see for the rest of the season here, Chris, is that maybe fuel strategy is actually going to be less of a player. And as much as we like strategy, I think this is what Area 51 admins really wanted this series to do. Be less about fuel and more about just raw speed from green to checkered, right? Don't worry about saving fuel in your runs just so you can make it 78 laps, make them pit 20 laps apiece, and make it where they are flat-footed from lap 1 to lap 78. I think that's the goal here, but we got some other players getting in the mix here, Chris. What do you think?
I think we're about to see 3 wide as we're coming to the line here, and that hasn't been any shy type of game from the TW guys. So they'll go 3 wide, see how many cars they can get in front. I think the main thing here is to make sure that you're able to make the pass. We can go 3 wide, not make it a late move, and make sure that there's enough room for these guys to get a good run here. We might have a couple more lap down cars in front of these guys. I would say they're going to catch them probably in about 2 laps. I think it's going to be Bud Steele all the way coming off turn 4 right now. So they can't stay 3 for long, but right now I think the TW guys are playing this just right, right as they want it.
Absolutely. So 3x3, these guys aren't worried about coming to pit road anymore, are they? We see 2 TW guys leading the bottom and the top lane. Dean Wilkinson maybe trying to go back-to-back. No, not in the Truck Series, but back-to-back from Sunday night's big victory in the Xfinity Series opener, trying to win yet another one here on Thursday night. As we see him ripping the top side with plenty of help. Each lane has 4 trucks, so with them all equal in drafting partners, what lane do you think's really going to carry the most speed lined up like this, Chris?
The bottom is always tried and true, but if you get that ever so slight hookup on the third line, you can just blow past these guys. And we already just saw one guy just from the middle drop all the way down. So that's going to choke up the bottom just a little bit and let these 2 cars on the outside get dead even with them.
Absolutely. Are you surprised maybe to see that the middle lane seemed to be quicker when they were 4x4x4?
You definitely get the first initial speed. I say you get the more initial speed in that middle lane, just because there's so much energy being built up there, as opposed to we just saw. I think that is the 45, or sorry, the 55 that just came down from third, all the way from the third to the bottom. But that middle line always carries all the speed because you're kind of just in between both wakes of the air where you can bust through. So you might see the car in the middle here drop all the way down if he can get his nose out in front. But it looks like they're about to catch some lap traffic, and they're going to really have to negotiate this pretty well.
Absolutely. So now that we're getting towards the end of this race, lap 69 coming to start lap 70. Going to be 9 laps to go when we hit the line here. I've got to ask, you've had a whole race to watch here, Chris, and I know it's been a while since you've maybe been in the booth on Thursday nights, but who you picking as your favorite to win this thing here tonight? Can you even pick one?
We just talked about how much he got put into a hole, but he decided to sit all the way in the back again, kind of like he did after the first set of pit stops. It's hard to bet against Gabe Butler.
Absolutely. It is so hard to bet against a multi-series champion in Area 51 on the restrictor plate side of things. But I tell you what, though, I watched him last season, watched him with so much raw speed, just didn't get the finishes he wanted, brought him up earlier in the broadcast, and he's leading now. That 14 of Vicente Guerrero has quietly stayed in the lead pack all race long. I think he's got the motor. I think he's got the truck. I think he's got the drive to get that victory here tonight and start off his next season after a heartbreaking playoffs and probably start his championship run right here at Talladega Superspeedway tonight. So as we see these guys racing, we see them 3x3x3 again. You're probably never going to see 2x2 the rest of this race unless something bad happens. And look at the bottom moving up, the top moving down. They're getting squirrely. The 45 getting squirrely off the bumper of the 9 of Charles Johnson. The 9, though, needs to be careful. He's one of the lap-down drivers. Actually, out of our 21 competitors, only 10 cars are currently on the lead lap. That 7 trying to get that lap back to be the last car on the lead lap, but I don't know if he's going to make it happen. At this point, you probably don't care that you're a lap down. You're just trying to help who's in front of you. So, really, Chris, I think we need to look at the lapped cars and who's behind leaders. I'm seeing the 14 and the 101, they're not teammates, but they're on the lead lap together. They'll probably race each other, right? But that 7 right behind Dean Wilkinson in that middle lane, that could prove to maybe bring Dean a back-to-back win in Area 51 restrictor plate racing. What do you think?
Oh, we got a little bit of... they're coming up. There's a little bit of a wreck. Sorry, I couldn't say anything, but...
the 14 is squirrely, and he saves it. What
that's amazing.
Save. I'm telling you,
these guys are going to be pushing a lot more right now. They're going to be pushing and not giving too much room here. So, coming to the finish of this race, if you're a lap down car, you don't want to make the wreck, but you'll do everything in your power to push and help somebody. But you'll feel terrible if you're the car that is a lap down and you cause a wreck. As we see these guys kind of doing a little bit of jockeying for position, as I think the TW guys are going to sit here in the middle. That's been the strongest line so far with the initial speed, but we're coming almost down to about 5 to go.
Absolutely, and before we get too close to the end, one final check-in from our pit reporter. I like to call him Gael Brooks. Who are you picking? Who do you think has the speed, Gael, to maybe bring home this season opener victory tonight?
Oh, well, we got contact. We got a trouble for
Charles Johnson hard in the wall. Truck's flipping, and there is our caution-free race has just ended. Yellow is out. Gael, commentator curse, I called on you, and look what happened. I'm kidding.
That's where I make the big bucks. But no, I say we'll go back. We'll take a look at this incident here. And gotta mention the first incident tonight to bring out a yellow, so it changes a lot of things here. And also the timing of this yellow, Max. So this is coming around to 4 to go. Actually, I'm sorry, 5 to go. This is going to be right on the edge of that green-white checkered window. So these trucks are going to be thinking fuel right now, because if this has to extend, and again, we talk about cautions breeding cautions, we might see some strategy here. Some of these drivers might say, you know what? I'm going to take the bite now. I'm going to take the hit, get a little bit of fuel, because if we get into green white checker number 2 or 3 even, you know what? I think taking a splash, especially if you're in the back of the lead pack, I think it's worth the gamble. But let's go back. Let's take a look to see what exactly happened there. As I said, I got to do a little bit of hunting here because it's kind of scrolling.
As you look for that, we see the 7 of James Mohan got that lucky dog. He passed the pace car, started making his way around, maybe getting that lap back just in time to run for the checkers. But we see here on the replay, the 9 of Charles Johnson, third car in line. It's really tough to bump. The 1 sees the problem, tries to move up, and just catches the right rear of the 9, gets him squirrely, and just causes a major pileup. Look at the hard impact. 2 trucks just start flipping and barrel rolling, going for an insane ride. But absolutely, we see that the 9 kind of started by being the third truck to bump when he lifted. The 1 didn't have really anywhere to go. He tried to move up and just almost did it to save the incident, but just clipped the 9 of Charles Johnson. Might have even been net code. But, the 14 back there, he got in a little skirmish, but he missed this big wreck. May put him right back in the mix. So I'm assuming most of these guys probably decided to stay out, probably are back of the pack, might have pitted because they had nothing to lose with only 10 cars at the time on the lead lap. The 7's going to be getting that lucky dog.
And actually, I got to update you there, Maxwell, because a big update on this is actually James Mohan. I believe he actually was ahead of the leaders at the time of the caution.
Oh, nice.
So he got us lap back the old-fashioned way, which actually basically gives us 2 drivers back on the lead lap. And I say Kevin Freese is going to be James Mohan's best friend because that puts the 25 back on the lead lap after that pit miscue earlier on, way early at the beginning of the race. So, and yeah, not a lot of drivers did hit pit road there. Looks like Robert Rock, Jay Hilliard were 2 that did hit pit road under that caution. Obviously, the 7 is going to come in as well. I would suspect we'd see Kevin Freese as well. But you were talking about who I was thinking to win. I say it's going to seem pretty kind of without any thought behind it. But I was going to mention the 2 that wound up being the top 2 at the time of the incident. Todd Siebels, I liked where he was. He was getting great help from the 9 of Charles Johnson, and then later on the 55 Dean Wilkinson. But I think the dark horse, Robert Duvendak, again, I believe new to the league here, but he has shown a lot of pace, a lot of great moves, willing to go to that third lane. It's just whether or not he has any help in that 99 truck. But I've liked what I've seen out of that 99 right off the bat so far this season. And saying, Chris, we can probably get a little sponsor bias as well, because I say he's got Vetix on the back of that one. I know that's a sponsor that's near and dear to your side as well. So pretty cool to see that on the back of that 99 truck. So yeah, 45, 99 being my dark horse. Those 2 look good, but I mean, you look at the picks we all had there. You have third in Dean Wilkinson, 4th Gabe Butler. I mean, they're all right there, and that's kind of what you come to expect in these. But now I'm going to throw my late dark horse. I'm going to throw Kevin Freese in the mix. He's got nothing to lose here. So he's going to restart shotgun in the field. He can only go forward here on this one.
I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to call you out on broadcast. You remind me of Larry Gingling picking 7 or 8 drivers when they're sitting on the lead lap to be the winner. You might be right at this point, Gael. You've picked most of our drivers up there up front. Great checking in with you. One question I do want to ask you before we go green. How does it feel to be behind the scenes for once, kind of being like the little pit reporter, seeing the stuff maybe we might be missing? Is it maybe a different perspective for you, Gael, than up here in the booth?
I'm definitely enjoying it. There's definitely some awkward parts, of course. I say we're going to be obviously kind of streamlining this and getting it all kind of nice and polished and everything once we get you running the cameras and everything too, Max. So I think that's right now where we've been kind of balancing the you broadcasting and Chris talking, doing the commentating, and kind of jumping between the cameras to kind of focus on what you guys are watching. That way the viewer sees what we're talking about. But no, I do enjoy being behind the scenes, and I look forward to once you're running the show completely, because then I'll be able to start digging a lot more. I'll jump around, I'll bug drivers during cautions and get some more insights and things like that. I think it'll definitely bring a lot more to the broadcast, and of course, we're gonna have some great help here. Say once we get Boomer all situated and moved in as well. Say we've got really good talent in the booth, and we'll be able to get some talent behind the wheels as well. So that way we can have some fun, get some racing in. So. Say that being said, though, Maxwell, lights are off, and we're gonna basically get an unofficial green-white checkered here as we're gonna restart this thing with 2 to go.
Absolutely. It would not be Green White Checker TV without an unofficial Green White Checkered. Let's reset it for you here, folks. The 45 of Todd Siebels is your leader for TW Motorsports. Got the 99 of Robert Dovendak in second, running very strong here tonight for a new face. Has a chance to win. Teammate to the 45, Dean Wilkinson there in third, but watch out in fourth place, your defending series champion, Gabe Butler in fourth. Rounding out that top five is Randy Miner in the 101, another TW driver. Vicente Guerrero, since everybody else picked the whole field, my pick to win this race, recovering to sixth place after his little incident and amazing save he had. We have seventh place is Gary Jenkins in the 90, Eric Laurie in 8th, Robert Rock in the 171 in 9th, and rounding out the top 10, Jay Hilliard. But here we go. Pace car is in. Chris, we're getting ready to restart here. These drivers are antsy. They can go anytime after the pace car is in. Leader discretion, and TW taking full advantage of being lined up as teammates as they get a great jump. Probably going to try to have the 99 pull in behind them. They are, and we are starting with just 2 laps to go. TW Motorsports leading the way down into turn 1, but the 99 peeking to the outside for a run. Can he make it work?
I thought they would have, all 3 TW cars line up and kind of go at the same time. Now it's a 2-and-2 fight, and with Gabe Butler pushing, I'm not sure. It feels like he almost has 10, plus 10 horsepower whenever he's running and it's coming down to the white flag here. So I don't know what's going to happen here. I think these TW guys might have it if they can just line up, but we might see Gabe Butler pull off another upset win.
Absolutely seen a lot of movement. People trying to move into the outside lane. Vicente Guerrero going to try the third lane by himself. You can get a lot of momentum for just a moment, but eventually you'll need help. TW on the bottom, the 99 in the middle. Coming to the white flag. This race will be official. Here we go. 3 wide now for the win. Maybe 4 wide. These guys are moving all over the place in turn 1. Exactly. Catch our breath here, right? TW leading the bottom line. The 99 there with Gabe Butler. I don't know. Gabe's going to make the move. There's what I was questioning. TW getting out of line. Gabe Butler might pull the upset here, Chris. Call us into turn 3.
Just don't know how Gabe Butler does it, but he's out front and he gets a little bit of help, and there's only a wreck, so this is going to be it. Gabe Butler somehow makes another miracle win.
Absolutely a huge crash behind. We'll check that after the checkered flag. We've got a couple drivers making it through, though, and I have seen this picture before. Gabe Butler missing the wreck. Don't know how he does it, but you're defending series champion, and I believe your race finale winner is going to take the checkered flag for race 1 of the Thursday night green-white checkered, Area 51 Thursday night truck series. Second place is going to go to Dean Wilkinson. Strong run for TW. Looking to give Team Bootknocker a hard run here this season. And another Team Bootknocker driver, Eric Laurie, will round out your top 3. Vicente Guerrero just coming up short in 4th, and Todd Siebels, great run tonight. Little engine damage there at the end, but he'll round out the top 5. Chris, what a race, what a finish. Did not have a caution for so many laps, yet 1 yellow changed everything, didn't it?
Oh, definitely. Just a testament to these guys to go, 50-something laps, without a caution. You don't really get that when you join the official lobbies in iRacing. Sometimes you just got guys that are a little bit too aggressive, and it's a one and done since you don't have any fast repairs there. But like to say that the TW guys, I think they definitely had this coming to the line where they're on the backstretch. I think they just had a couple bad bumps and they got out of line. And once they tried to reintegrate into the track, everyone else was just fighting for position. I think that's just how the big one happened, and somehow it feels like Gabe Butler is almost bulletproof with this,
Absolutely. Thought the same thing. The TW guys got all bent out of shape there on the bottom. I think they'll go back, watch this one, and if they can go back to what they did the end of last season, just working the team orders, kind of working together no matter what, we would really get this. Now let's look at this last lap yellow here, see what caused it. It's just a racing deal. The 14 of Vicente Guerrero pushing really hard. The 90 trying to turn down as he's getting the push. That's really going to get the back of that truck loose, and that I would really not even say that's the 14. That's the 90 just trying a bold move, turning while getting pushed, causing all these guys to stack up here. But definitely not a Area 51 Truck Series race unless we have an amazing finish here, and big crashes like this cause for great television here, Gael, with the camera work, doing a great job for us. A lot of guys not having the nights they want. Look at the 69, almost get through it all, but then clobber the 101. At that point, I think you're just not lifting anymore, but he almost got through there amazingly. But a lot of torn up trucks at the end of this. A lot of guys not having the nights they've wanted. We'll go through your final running order here just momentarily, but Gael, it's the scary part. It's time to do our interviews with the top 3 drivers, and you know that I don't have the admin rights to pull them into this channel, so I'm going to leave that up to you. We need to grab our 3rd place driver, Eric Laurie, here tonight.
All right, asking you shall receive, and we've got our 3rd place runner, Eric Laurie. So Maxwell, Chris, I'll let you guys take it away from here.
All right, Eric Laurie with the 3rd place finish here in the first race of the season. Eric, tell us about it. How was your night? How did you come out with a 3rd place finish there?
Oh, the night was pretty good. Just cruising along, just taking, things as it goes with the race. And we had that crash there in turn 3 and 4. And somewhere along the line, with everybody with damage, I was able to pass the couple in front of me and come out 3rd.
Absolutely. So one more question, at least for me, and then I'm going to give Chris the floor to kind of ask you something himself. But what was the team strategy at Team Bootnocker tonight? Normally, these first 5-6 races of a season, we see you guys hang out at the back the first start of the race and then work your way forward. But tonight, y'all started out strong, aggressive, trying to lead laps, and really just kind of a different look for Team Bootnocker. Do y'all have a different strategy going into this season to try to be more competitive than you already are?
Yeah, we're trying something different. Instead of going to the back, we're going to try to stay up front and see what brings. We've had some bad luck here in the past little bit with accidents in the back and then getting strung out way back. So it's time for us to stay up front and see what's going to happen.
All right, Eric. Definitely like seeing you on that last lap, kind of go through the grass with that John Deere truck. Very cool, very sponsorship friendly moment right there. For the race for you, did you feel like it was a little too aggressive at certain points? Did you feel like the atmosphere and the mood of the race was just to your liking, or just something that you didn't want to really be a part of and kind of just sat in the back sometimes? What was your overall where you wanted to? Did you just feel like the race was a little bit too aggressive at times?
No, not at all. The race was not aggressive at all. I thought everybody was kind of going in slow motion there for a while.
Absolutely. Eric Laurie loves to go fast, loves to turn left, loves to put the pedal to the metal. Great job on your 3rd place finish here tonight. So, Eric, you know what it's time for. Green, White, Checkered TV tradition here. Time for you to give any thanks and shout-outs that you might have here for this 3rd place victory tonight.
Well, I want to thank Green, White, Checker for what they do, Area 51 for putting all this on, and my teammates, Kevin, Gabe, and Jimmy Crow tonight was with us.
Absolutely. Eric, congratulations on your 3rd place finish. We will see you again next week to see if you can finish 2 positions better. Good job tonight, bud.
Thank you very much.
All right, that is your 3rd place finisher, Eric Laurie. Now it's time to shift gears a little bit, go to a different team with TW Motorsports here and Dean Wilkinson, who brought home the 2nd place finish here tonight. Dean, congratulations on 2nd place. You won Sunday night. We saw you running strong here tonight. Thought you were going to pull off the back-to-back plate wins this week. Tell us about your race, though. Kind of walk us through your strategies.
I just decided to try to stay up front as best most I can, keep out of trouble. There was a few close calls there near the end. Yeah, it was a little bit scary, but I ended up pulling out that 2nd at the end, so I got lucky.
So, Dean, another question I've got for you here is we noticed that with the change in laps, the pit strategy really was a lot different than normal, right? And I called at the beginning of the broadcast that some drivers might do it at laps 20, 40, and 60, and you almost proved me right there, sticking to that strategy. Was the goal to make the last stop put in the least amount of fuel? Because you guys tended the last two stops, you worked with some of your teammates to not come with the whole pack, to come on your own, and it seemed to work out both times to give you a great run to the lead. Was there something you learned in that first pit stop that maybe showed you pitting early was the better solution?
Oh, well, the strategy wasn't for fuel in that case. It was we just didn't want to be pitting with the rest of the pack, and for the congestion on pit road, we didn't want to be involved in any of the incidents. So, but it worked out as far as the fuel goes.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Dean, good race, man. Unfortunately, you guys were getting a little bit tangled up on the last part of the lap. Did you guys have a strategy going into it when you had the starting when you guys were starting at the restart and just never hooked up? Is there anything that you guys kind of got to work on and debrief on at the end of this race?
I mean, obviously, by the way it looks there, we were kind of spread out. We were lined and spread out. I think it was just the way the outer lines got pushed, and we really wanted to get to the middle or high side, and then we got sort of spread apart there. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Dean, good job on a second place finish, running strong in the playoffs last season, and just come up one spot short of being the top dog here tonight. We're going to give you the floor now for any thanks and shout outs that you might want to give for this awesome second place finish.
Well, the TW guys, Todd, Brock, and Randy and Jay, good team. And congrats to Gabe for the win again. And thank you guys for the broadcast. It's always a pleasure to go back and watch that. And of course, Area 51 for putting on this awesome league.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, Dean. We try our best up here in the booth. Gael has let me and Chris loose here, and it's kind of been scary, but it's been awesome. Y'all put on a great show tonight. Go celebrate that second place victory there, Dean.
Thank you, guys.
And that is your second place finisher, Dean Wilkinson. Now to go to I'm going to call him a new driver. We've never seen him before. This guy just randomly come out here and won the race. Never seen him in victory lane before. Who am I kidding? This is Gabe Butler. The one truck means something here. He finishes in first place tonight. Gabe, I'm just going to ask, how do you do it? Pulling off the victory again. Tell us about your race here, bud.
I mean, it was pretty interesting. I tried to stay up front all night as best I could because the Sunday night series, we kind of got caught out. We were hanging in the back, and they had a major non-wreck checkup type of thing, and we kind of lost the pack. So, lesson learned on that. And with a smaller field, I figured we'd try and stay up front a little bit. But I got to apologize to Charles there at that last caution. I caused that. I got a huge run, and they checked up just a hair, and I didn't move to the right in time and clipped them. So, but yeah, just got lucky in the end, and usual help from the teammates. Fabulous job on the pits, and worked out.
Absolutely. So you bring up pit road. Tonight we had a rule change, right? We added 3 laps to this race to kind of change up the strategies a little bit. Gabe, you are a veteran of Area 51. You are a veteran of super speedway racing in general, whether it's an Xfinity car, Cup car, truck, maybe even a street stock. I don't know. You probably run everything around here. But what the question I've got is, from a veteran, how do you think the 3 laps extra tonight changed the strategy? Do you think it helped create more strategies, or do you think that it might have took a lot of fuel equation out of it and just turned these races into more just raw speed from start to finish?
Well, if it goes green, it's definitely a 3-stop race. But you know yourself, with cautions at super speedways, it throws a wrench into it. So, but assuming it goes green, then it's definitely a 3-stop race, and kind of brings out more racing, I think, versus fuel saving. with the extra 3 laps. So either way, it's good whatever way they want to do it. We'll race it whatever they throw at us.
Gabe, I don't know how you do it, man. I've been watching you for a couple seasons now, and it seems like no matter what teams throw at you and try to kind of box you out or set you back and do everything else, more times than not, you always come out on top. If not with a win, definitely with a podium. My question for you is: do you have a certain sense of how the race is being ran? Where we saw you early on, up front, and you're leading some laps, and then once we came out to I think the second or first pit stop, you kind of were sitting there. You were still in the front pack, but you're like 9th or 10th, and it just felt like you were kind of just conducting the calmness of the race. And then we got right back to the next set of pit stops, and all of a sudden you were back out in front, pushing your teammate to hopefully get their lap back. Is there a way that you kind of just see the atmosphere of the track kind of just change and the strategy play out for you?
Yeah, I mean, your teammates help a bunch in situations like that, and if you race these things long enough, you do get a feel for the races, you get a feel for the drivers, you can sense what you think might happen, and you become familiar with the different teams and what their habits are, and if you don't necessarily have to study it really hard, but you kind of get a sense of what you think they're going to do, and you try and anticipate it and try and outwit them, shall we say. And that's what we tried to do. We're constantly talking in our chats and what we can do, what we think we should do, what we think they might do, and it's a big chess game, and it's a blast.
Well, I definitely gotta go buy a lottery ticket because I had you pegged for the winner today, and you made me a rich man. So I think I gotta go. I think I gotta go buy a lottery ticket.
All right, keep picking, and I'll keep trying to make it richer.
Yes, sir.
You might have won that lottery ticket, but Chris, I believe that one didn't take any tires to get that victory here tonight. So we win the bet, you win the lottery ticket. Gabe Butler wins the race. Gabe, you know what time it is now. Green White Checkered TV tradition. We're going to give you the floor here to give any thanks and shout outs that you'd like to give for this awesome season opening win here tonight.
Big shout out to Team Bootknocker and all the teammates, man. You can't do it by yourself here. Everybody knows that. And shout out to Area 51 for putting on this league. And, of course, you guys for doing a fantastic broadcast at Green White Checker TV. It's always a blast to go back and watch it, listen to the analysis, and it's always enjoyable. So anybody out there watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe to one of the best broadcasters on YouTube for iRacing. And just real quick, congratulations to Peter DeBorgia, previous Sunday Series champion, on the birth of his daughter today. Healthy baby, healthy mama, so everything's all good. And quick shout out to Jim Brooks. He's in the hospital. Jim, we're all thinking of you. And that one was for you, my friend.
Absolutely. Thoughts and prayers with Jim Brooks for sure, one of the league owners here. And for Peter Jabora, having an awesome time with a newborn there. Such a great shout-outs, Gabe. Congratulations on your win. Go celebrate with your team, and we will see you back here next week to see what you can do yet again. Great job tonight.
Okay, fellas. Thanks a bunch.
All right, so that is your top 3 for the evening. Gael, going to put you on the spot here. I think it's time that we go ahead and go through our finishing order here tonight, see where all your favorite drivers ended the race. And we're going to start right here with the one of Gabe Butler getting the victory here tonight, followed alongside Dean Wilkinson in second, Eric Laurie in third, your podium finishers. Outside of that, we have Vicente Guerrero finishing fourth. Strong start to the championship there. Todd Siebel's another playoff driver from last season. Your top 5 all playoff drivers from last season. Don't think that's coincidental at all. Todd Siebel's finishing 5th there. Robert Duvendak finishing 6th. Gary Jenkins will be 7th here tonight in that 90 truck. The 59 of Jay Hilliard finishing 8th. James Mohan in the 7 with all his troubles going a lap down. The craziness in the race comes out with a 9th place finish. And Kevin Freeze, I say driver of the race to sit there and go almost 2 laps down at one point, fought to get that lap back, and finished inside the top 10 on that last restart. The rest of your running order, 11th place is Robert Rock, Randy Miner in 12th, Charles Johnson, unfortunate incident there in 13th. Bud Steele caught up in a couple accidents tonight in 14th. Bob Fitzgerald fought hard all night long, but finished 15th, 2 laps down. 3 laps down would be the 69 of Guy Baracco, finishing there in 16th. J.D. Crow, with all his troubles, 3 laps down, is going to bring home a 17th place finish. Robert DuPont, though, 3 laps down in 18th. Dan Harrington going to finish in the 19th position. And then our 2 disconnects of the night due to some incidents and unfortunate events. The 411 of Tom Dixon in 20th. And finishing out our running order is the 16 of Jimmy Crow there in 21st position. So I've got a question for each of you before we wrap up. Chris, I'm going to start with you. What'd you think? What's your final thoughts after tonight?
I wasn't on track, but I think I'm still wiping sweat off my brow. I was very tense up here in the booth. It's always nervous, I'm still getting used to it. It's always fun, and then watching the action on the track. I had Gabe winning. That was my bet, but still didn't think it was a strong one. Anything can happen in these types of races, and somehow he was able to come away with the victory. But watching the action here is absolutely, it's high octane, high intensity, and I love it.
Absolutely intense action here tonight. This truck series, the reason I love coming here on Thursday nights, puts on just a fantastic show no matter what. Now, for the boss man, the myth, the legend, Guy L. Brooks, got to ask after tonight, how do you think the rest of this season is going to look? You think we're going to see similar to tonight, or is it only going to get more aggressive and more chaotic from here?
I think we're going to see what we saw tonight. I think we're going to see it with a little more numbers. I think we're going to pick up a few more trucks over the course of the season. Like I said, 21's a good start, but I have a feeling we'll get some more. And I'll throw it out there for the viewers as well. If anybody's interested in racing with Area 51, I say, especially if you're on the Discord and all that already, send me a message. I'll say I know there's a bit of an entry fee to get in, so if it's money that's the issue, let me know. I'll get you in the series here. Always love to pick up some good, clean racers. Say it's a great little group of dysfunctional family, we like to call it over here. So I'm looking forward to it, Maxwell. I think we're gonna have a great season. I love the people we have. Like I said, we're gonna get a few more people, and like you said, also definitely big congrats to Peter DeBorgia there. Say with the newborn. So looking forward once mom and baby are all home and comfortable, and he's allowed to sneak away for a little bit. I believe he'll be doing some racing as well with us. So looking forward to getting him on track as well. And then once we get Boomer situated and say everything else, I'll say we'll get some of us Green White Checkered folks on track and cause a little bit of trouble too. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and definitely really want to thank Gabe. I'll say it means a lot from him, and of course you, Maxwell, talking on the side. Can give an update. Sounds like the procedure tonight went very, very well for my dad, so I'm going to be going there first thing tomorrow once they let me to go check in on him. So we'll give more updates as things go. But yeah, really appreciate all the thoughts and prayers, everybody. It means a ton. Part of why I let Maxwell and Chris run the show here. Wasn't sure if I'd be mentally ready to do the full broadcast. So means a ton. Love you guys. Love everybody that watches, supports us. Means a ton. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the rest of the season, and it's going to be a lot of fun, Maxwell.
Absolutely. Got a lot of things good to look forward to. Continuing to keep Jim Brooks in our thoughts and prayers, folks. You guys watching on the broadcast, you see him racing each and every week. You know the dedication he has to this league and putting on some of the best racing iRacing's got on the service right now. So definitely be keeping him in your thoughts and prayers. Jim, if you come back and watch this, we are praying for you, buddy. We love you. We're hoping for a quick recovery and to get you back on track with us soon. Keep fighting the good fight, my friend. And just to wrap up here tonight, do not forget, Area 51 is not just on Thursday nights, folks. We have the Sunday night Superspeedway Series. We step it up with the Xfinity Series cars, a little more power and a lot of action. Dean Wilkinson won last week. Who's going to take home that checkered flag Sunday night? You'll have to tune in to find out. Same times as all our series are. The same time we started nights when we start there. Also, got a fun series for those just wanting to get in on some action. A fun series they're running on Monday nights. Just having some cool stuff going on there with, I believe it's the Lotus 49 vehicle racing at some iconic racetracks just for kicks and giggles. And then finally, you have Tuesday night, I believe we're still partnered with the Dark Horse Racing Series in Area 51, putting on the IndyCar Series. Open-wheeled action at a lot of famous racetracks. You do not want to miss it. So, for myself, Gaio Brooks, and Chris Matthews, we are going to go ahead and sign off for this evening. We'll see you back here next week on Thursday night. Same time, same place, same great action. So, for all of us here at Green White Checker TV, we're signing off, and we say thank you and good night.